Anytime in the Spirit I've been praying and I'm before the throne of God repenting, and one of my sisters is there with me praying, she's not a girl. She's just a warrior. In the Spirit, there is no marriage. Why? Because there is no gender. You are a spiritual being. Like the angels. Okay? There aren't girl angels. There's just angels. You need to understand that God does not see obsessively focused on the carnal. He's just not. Is there a proper order of things where the husband has a bigger, thicker cup, is a stronger vessel than the female? Yes. Spiritually, somehow the walls of his cup are thicker. It's harder to stick an ice pick, to blow a hole in his cup and make him leak. I'm not talking about somebody physically stronger. God is not talking about the woman is the weaker vessel because she can't lift as much weight. There are women that can out bench press me 3-4 times over. Totally kick my butt up and down the block. You know, that's not it. He's talking about something spiritual. You've got to see through spiritual eyes and understand that the cup, the jar of clay that we're in, somehow spiritually, the men's cup can hold more, can grow faster, can be stretched more, is harder to penetrate, is harder for the enemy to break through. Whatever it is that he means by that, he's not focused on the carnal. Am I okay with a woman being an apostle? Spiritually speaking, absolutely not. Anybody that's got a cup full of yellow stuff should sit down and shut up. God is not going to call that person to be an apostle. Now, what you need to understand is just like salvation, just like the baptism, just like a whole bunch of the stuff, just like the gifts, they're dials, not on-off switches. You may have a call on your life. You may have the potentiality or the possibility to be in a fivefold office. You may have even somebody that at some point spoke over you that you were a prophet or an evangelist. That doesn't mean you're going to be tomorrow. That doesn't mean that you're always going to walk, or even that you're walking in it now. It may just be a little tiny pinprick of a possibility that it's going to be. There's people that have told me God gave them Africa, and I'm like, okay, when did he do that? Well, 10 years ago. Have you been there? Well, no, but I'm just waiting for the Lord, because he said he gave me Africa and 1 million souls in Africa and what. And I'm like, what are you doing about it? Nothing. Well, then I'm pretty sure he gave it to somebody else already by now. Okay, you can't just assume it's yours forever while you're sitting on your butt. Okay. Could somebody be called to be an apostle? Okay, let's say a male, physical gender, a guy hears the Lord say, you're an evangelist, you're a pastor, you're an apostle, you're a prophet, whatever. And he's walking in that. And he's doing it. And God's using him. And God is crucified. There's hardly any yellow stuff. And there's lots and lots of Jesus. And he's walking in it, and he's obeying and whatever. And then he makes it about him. And he gets a little prideful. And the red stuff starts creeping in from controlling people and manipulating people, and maybe he gets a little bit of love of money, and the yellow stuff increases, and he starts squishing out the Jesus. Is he still an apostle? Okay, the marks of that, the tag on him, the tattoo on his soul that has a little A on it or whatever, okay, it may still be there, but that doesn't mean he's being an apostle, because the Lord will pass him by. And the Lord will use someone else, and the Lord will turn him over to his own depraved mind, and the Jezebel will increase in him. And he will be standing up in front of people spouting yellow stuff, just as female and Jezebel and under the curse of Eve as anybody you can imagine. When really, the little old lady in the back should be the one that's up on stage talking. The grandma in the wheelchair who's got a great big shiny cup of Jesus, and hardly any of her left in there, and when she prays, everything in heaven stops and answers. Stops to listen to her. When she cries, things change. She's the elder. She's the pastor. She's the evangelist. She's the one that should be up on stage. Because maybe anybody that's getting healed in there, they're getting healed because when they go down the aisle, grandma's praying for them, even though the pastor is the guy laying hands on them. But that's not what's getting them healed. What's getting them healed is grandma back there praying that the pastor won't fall on his face. I know this is hard. I know this is hard. Here's the thing, guys. If your woman, if your wife has a bigger, more cleaned out cup of Jesus than you do, if she's got more blue stuff and less yellow stuff, then she's the spiritual head of the family. Because when she opens her mouth, there's a better chance that Jesus is going to come out than you. So you need to listen to her, because she's hearing God better than you are, and Jesus is your husband. And if Jesus comes out of her more often than Jesus comes out of you, then she's the spiritual head of your family. You buck that, you spit on that, God's going to get you. Probably has already got you. And that's why you can't grow in your walk with God. That's why you're being held back. Because you keep refusing to listen to Jesus when he comes out of some vessel that you don't think has a right to speak into your life. I've had 5-year-old, 7-year-old kids come and give me a word from the Lord that put me on my face crying like a baby. I've had a rainbow speak to me. I've had all kinds of stuff. Today, the Lord sent hawks, and I knew that it was him, and he was speaking. It was his protection and his hand over me. You better stop judging the vessel that the message comes in and start judging the message. They could be covered in tattoos. He could do that. We got folks here. They could have criminal records. They could have been a pedophile. They could have been killing Christians yesterday and had a permit from the Pharisees to do it. But today, they got a big shiny cup of Jesus, and you better listen. Because if you spit on him, you're spitting on Jesus, and he's going to get you. Brother, if you don't like it that your wife hears God better than you do, then hit your face, ask the Lord why you're not hearing him better, and get out in front of her. Get a bigger cup of Jesus than she does. Sacrifice more, love more, wash her feet, pray, cry, beg and plead, do whatever you got to do. Ask the Lord to get the red stuff out. Stop with the porn, stop with the marijuana, stop with whatever. Get the world behind you, die to the flesh, get a bigger cup than her, and then it'll be in divine order and it'll be beautiful. But don't deny that God is going to use who he's going to use. Brother, if you're the leader of a ministry, if you're the leader of a denomination, stop focusing on the carnal. Grow up. Focus on the Spirit. Get the eyes of Jesus. Understand that if he speaks, it doesn't matter who he speaks from. If you're so dull of hearing and so incapable of seeing that it was his voice, no matter who or what it came out of, then you are useless. You are only going to hear what you want to hear that will support your own systems. And you are dismissing big chunks of what Jesus wants to provide to the body. We all have gifts because of Christ in us. Your yellow stuff is no good for nothing. Brother, if you get up on Sunday morning up on stage and you spout red stuff and doctrines of demons, or you spout yellow stuff and you talk all about self and you and how great you are and it's all pride, sit down and shut up and cover your head and ask your husband to explain it to you and to do it the right way. Let those who will prophesy, who will speak, who will preach the gospel in an anointed way, who have Jesus coming out of their mouth, let them get up there and do it. And if there's no masculine type, male gender type people that are willing or that can or that have Jesus coming out of them, that's fine. Use whatever vessel Jesus is going to come out of and let them get up front and say what they got to say. I don't expect anybody to like this message. And I don't expect it to be heard by the flesh, by the carnal. That doesn't make it any less true. Thanks for listening.